Oh, we're back and we're gonna make it to double digits. Number 101, Beedrill. Bzzz. I mean, it sounds like bees. You know what bees sound like. Exactly. Beedrill, Jerry Seinfeld's character in B-Movie. Yeah, that's not very creative, I'm sorry. Look at this picture. Beedrill doesn't appear to be very strong, does it? Well, that's because it's not strong. In fact, the most powerful move that Beedrill learns, Twin Needle, has a base power of 25. For comparison's sake, Hyper Beam, the strongest move in the game, has 150 as its base power, and an average move has around 70. So Beedrill's strongest move is still nearly 3 times as weak as an average move. Yeah, that's strike one. Next, let's look at Beedie's stats. It has decent attack and speed, and I guess the HP is not terrible. Other than that, I mean, symmetrical stripes? It doesn't have a lot going for it. But thinking about it, Beedrill's actually probably the strongest bug type in the game, which just goes to show you how weak that bug actually is. And that gets me to my third point. Beedrill is in fact a bug type, and bugs are the only type in Generation 1 that did super effective damage against psychic types. The only problem is that most bug types are also poison types, and Beedrill is no exception. And since bug and poison are the 2 weakest types in the game, Beedrill is the 2 weakest types in the game. Good luck with that psychic staring back at you, because any attack it does is going to do massive damage. Oy. Oh baby, we at number 100, and it's Butterfree. I thought there'd be a parade or something. Oh, I'm so happy that school is out and we're on spring break. Apparently Butterfree is Irish. Butterfree, Haley Joel Osment as a kid. I mean, really any child celebrity would probably work here with the big eyes. The Freebird gets the slight nod over Beedrill because Bug and Flying is a slightly better type combination than Bug and Poison, if only a little bit. Butterfree has decent speed and okay special, and I mean, you could get a hit or 2 off before it faints, but you're really not going to do that much damage. Interestingly enough, Butterfree learns no bug moves in this generation, and makes its living off of psychic moves and those annoying grass-type moves like Stun Spore and Sleep Powder. Hopefully you can paralyze your opponent or put him to sleep and get in a Psybeam or a Psychic or something like that. And I'd rather be using those psychic moves than bug-type moves, so Butterfree again gets the nod over Beedrill. It also wins the nod for Pokemon most likely switched at birth. I mean, if you look at any of these Pokemon conspiracy theories, most of them say that Butterfree should have in fact been the evolutionary chain of Venonat, while Caterpie and Metapod would evolve into Venomoth. I mean, it's chaos! Chaos. Number 99, Psyduck. Sigh. I glued my hands to my head, oh no! Psyduck, Homer Simpson. I don't know why, but Psyduck has just always kind of irritated me. Its evolution, Golduck, is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, but for whatever reason, Psyduck just doesn't live up to that billing. Billing with a duck? It's a riot! Maybe it's just because the head is constantly seizing, or maybe it's just cold all the time, or maybe it glued its hands to its head. I mean, whatever the problem is, Psyduck just doesn't work very well. Also, having Psy in the name, you'd think it will learn a lot of psychic attacks, but it only learns Confusion, which is the weakest of anything, and Psywave, which is just terrible. Don't be silly and use Psywave. Anyway, Psyduck's attacks are all relatively the same. It's really just an average Pokemon. And Psyduck being in double digits shows you that average is actually pretty good because there are a lot of crappers out there. Psyduck does get some fun moves to play with, like Dig, Ice Beam, and some fighting type attacks, which again will all do decent damage because Psyduck doesn't really excel in anything, but it also doesn't really have any major weaknesses. And that's A-okay with me. Fun fact, Psyduck is one of the few pokes you can enhance via Pokemon Stadium. If you do something absurd like get all 151 Pokemon into the Hall of Fame, Psyduck learns Amnesia, which raises special and makes those Water, Ice, and Psychic types all the more powerful. Oh, give me that! Number 98, Machop. Machop. I thought karate chopping was easy, but my hands always hurt. Machop, Justin Bieber. Machop is part of the best evolutionary line of fighters in the game. I always thought Machop's little sprite looked like a gingerbread man when I'd see it in the Pokemon Red and Blue games, and it always made me hungry. I don't know if that's a plus or not. Machop has absurdly high attack, and I'm willing to bet that of all the unevolved Pokemon in Generation 1, Machop's attack is probably the highest. HP is pretty impressive as well, but sadly the speed and special leave something to be desired. And guess what? Fighting is weak to the most popular type in the game, Psychic, so you still could get taken out in one hit. But hopefully the high HP will let Machop stick around for a chop or two. And since fighting types are only strong against normal types, ground and rock attacks help with some of the other types in the game. Basically, you can do solid damage against just about every type, and when you look at the grand scheme of things, you can do a lot worse. Chop it!
JK.